What you're looking at isn't a parking lot. It's a waiting room for the global economy. Right now, just off the coast of Panama, a fleet of colossals is sitting dead in the water. They're not moving, they're not earning, they're burning cash by the second. Inside these steel containers lies everything from the LNG heating Europe's winter to the microchips powering your phone. For over a century, the Panama Canal was the engineering miracle that cheated geography. It split a continent to unite the world. But today, this $5 billion expansion is facing an enemy that no amount of reinforced concrete can stop. It's not war, it's not politics. The Panama Canal is literally running out of water. And when the water stops, the money stops. Welcome to the master plan. To understand why this matters, you have to look at the map. Before this trench was dug, a ship traveling from New York to San Francisco had to sail 8,000 miles around the lethal Cape Horn. It was a death sentence for efficiency. The canal changed everything. It became the world's greatest shortcut. Today, 6% of all global trade squeezes through this narrow gap. That sounds small until you realize that 6% translates to $270 billion worth of cargo every single year. It's the primary artery for American grain, Asian electronics, and Chilean copper. So when this artery clogs, the heart attack hits your wallet. We just survived the holiday rush, but the supply chain hangover is just beginning. Analysts are already warning that the delay in Panama could add weeks to delivery times and spike inflation just as the economy tries to cool down. But here's the paradox. Panama is one of the wettest countries on Earth. It's basically a rainforest designed to drown you in water. So how, in a place that practically swims in rain, did the engineers let the canal go dry? The answer lies in a fatal calculation made over 100 years ago. Most people think the Panama Canal is just a ditch connecting two oceans. It's not. It's a bridge, a water bridge. Because the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans are not at the same level and the land in between is a mountain range, you can't just dig a hole. You have to lift the ships over the continent. They use a system of locks, essentially massive water elevators. Here's the mechanism. A ship enters. Gravity pours millions of gallons of fresh water from Lake Gatun, the massive man-made reservoir at the top, into the lock. The ship rises 85 feet, crosses the lake, and is lowered down the other side. It's a brilliant use of physics. Gravity does all the heavy lifting. But there's a catch, a massive one. Unlike a pump that recycles liquid, the old locks dump that fresh water out to sea. Every single ship that passes through flushes 50 million gallons of fresh water into the ocean. That water is gone forever. The engineers knew this was unsustainable, so when they built the $5 billion expansion in 2016 to handle the megaships, they added water-saving basins. These massive tubs were supposed to recycle 60% of the water. Ideally, it was a closed loop. But they made a bet. They bet that the rain would always fall to refill what was lost. Then came El Niño. The rain stopped, the temperature spiked. Lake Gatun, which also supplies drinking water for half of Panama's population, began to evaporate. Suddenly, the Canal Authority had to make a choice: give water to the people or give water to the ships. They chose the people, and the ships stopped moving. So, what happens when you have 100 ships and only enough water for 20? Capitalism happens. The Panama Canal Authority turned the crisis into an auction. If you want to skip the line, you pay. In late 2023, one Japanese energy giant paid nearly $4 million just for the right to cross. That doesn't include the standard transit fee. That's a $4 million cut-the-line ticket. For high-value goods like gas or electronics, companies pay up. But for low-margin goods, bananas, coffee, furniture, the math doesn't work. So they take the long way home. They burn thousands of tons of extra fuel going around South America, or they risk the geopolitical minefield of the Suez Canal.
Throw the hook now! Climb! Move faster, they see us!
Either way, the cost of shipping a container from Shanghai to New York has exploded. And guess who pays that difference? You do, at the checkout counter. We built the modern world on a simple assumption that nature is a constant, that the rain will always fall and the rivers will always flow. The Panama crisis is a wake-up call. We engineered a $5 billion machine that can move mountains, but we cannot engineer rain. Mexico is rushing to build a railway alternative. The Arctic ice is melting, teasing a northern route. The monopoly of Panama is cracking. This isn't just about a canal. It's about the fragility of a global system that demands infinite growth on a finite planet. The engineers say they can fix it. They want to dam another river, spend another billion. But looking at those empty lakes, you have to wonder, are we solving the problem or are we just buying time before the next drought sends the bill?